Hi, everyone, and welcome to the show. We're so glad you've tuned in. The Bible tells us to focus on things that are true, lovely, admirable, and praiseworthy, and that's exactly what we're going to do today. We're going to listen to words that are full of love and hope, words that proclaim who Jesus is. We're going to listen to music and lyrics that build up our faith and encourage our spirits. In this episode, we'll hear from a man who walked through some uncertain waters in recent years when he began to have seizures that dramatically affected him and his family. Listen as Rob Lodge shares this story and how God has been with him every step of the way. Also, we have the Penney family from Port Saunders joining us as our musical guests today. We're so pleased to welcome Dana, Chris, Emma, and Rachel Penney to the Heart Matters stage. We hope you enjoy the show. Heart Matters will return in just a moment.
Closed captioning provided by Terry's Tents, in business for 30 years, providing canvas fabrication, printing, embroidery, craft supplies, and more, located in Happy Valley, Goose Bay. Scott's Transport Limited is a family-owned and operated full transportation company located in beautiful Deer Lake. In business for over 25 years and with a fleet of modern equipment and dedicated team, we service the growing needs of businesses from Newfoundland and Labrador to Ontario and locations in between. If it matters to you, it matters to us.
Hey, I'm Rob Lodge, currently living in St. John's, originally from Deer Lake. Married now, next month will be 20 years to my beautiful wife, Laura Lee. We've got two wonderful children. My oldest daughter is Charlie. She's 9, turning 10 soon, and Noah, 8. Been here at Bethesda for just over 5 years now as the Connections Pastor, and so helping people that's first-time guests get connected to Bethesda, helping people take a next step in their faith, whether it be serving small groups, so on and so forth, and that sort of thing. So I'm a people person. You got to be a people person. I'm one of the first people you see with my teams, our first impressions teams, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, one night my son, who was I think about 4 at the time, had awakened in the middle of the night, and of course called out to his dad. And so I got up from my bed and went out and settled him back to sleep, and that's the last thing I remember. The next thing, I remember waking up, I can't remember if it was in the back of an ambulance at that occasion or if it was in the emergency room at the Health Sciences Center, and just sort of disoriented, didn't know if I was dreaming, but come to find out I had a seizure in the middle of the night. And so at that point, doctors were saying, you know, it's common people to have one-off for all sorts of things, all sorts of reasons. So we left it, and of course, you lose your license, but for a period of time, because it was a one-off, just a 3-month period, and then things seemed to go back to normal. Several months went by, and boom, same thing happened again. My son woke up in the middle of the night. I went out and lay down with him, got him settled back to sleep. I woke up a day or two later in the ICU at the Health Sciences Center. Didn't know what happened. Once again, I had a seizure that lasted longer than it should have. If you go into a seizure for a long time, it can have long-lasting effects. And so they sort of put me on life support just to settle my brain. You know, you see a neurologist, you go through all those things, you figure it out, and they said, okay, after the second one, it looks like you got epilepsy. So of course that entailed his own journey, and another lost my license for 6 months straight, which, like I said, I had 2 small children, 4 and 6 at the time, and you know, working here at Bethesda, kids, you know, in school, daycare, trying to balance work, life, everything, and can be a challenge, but you know, I'm worked around it, you know, got to know the Metro bus and our wonderful taxis here in St. John's. We were hoping that everything would have balanced out. I was on, you know, medication for it and so on and so forth. But then again, sometime later, after I thought it was over, I had another one. And when you come to, you're like, oh man, another one. Because you know what's coming. And you know the doctor and you're like, oh man, I know what the next 6 months is going to be like. They sort of increase your medication, hoping that will solve it. And I remember saying, because you're dealing with work and life and everything else, and frustration. You can't go through the store. You see a flyer, you see a sale on at Canadian Tire, or we got to get to work, and you're trying to, you don't want to bother anybody. I'm not that type of person. I don't like asking for help. Being the type of person that thinks he can handle it on their own, and with the medicines, that plays on its own, has its own side effects and stuff like that. You're more irritable, and so on and so forth. And I remember saying that, if I have one more, I'm gonna lose it. Sure enough, in time, fourth one happened. This time, it happened here at the office during a lunch break, and with everybody around, who are like family, by the way. What happened, and I didn't know what was going on. I've always had them in the middle of the night when I was asleep, so I've never experienced them. My wife have seen them, my kids or my son have seen them when they happen, but I've never encountered them. I didn't know what they were. I just, go to bed and I wake up in the back of an ambulance or what have you. End up sort of falling off a chair, cracking my head a little bit, and so on. The seizure is one thing, but then post-concussion syndrome sort of was added to that, and then that has its own set of repercussions that still, even today, 18 months later since the last seizure in January 21, still having some effects. I remember I was here and my hands started shaking. I said, that's strange, and my chest was getting tight, and I wasn't feeling very good, and I didn't know if I was having a heart attack, and this kept going on for a number of days, and finally sought some medical help, and through all the jigs and the reels, come out that the doctor said you're dealing with heavy anxiety, you're dealing with PTSD, and then start to reveal why, with the ups and the downs, with the unknowns, which sometimes you don't even realize, even when it's not the episode. It's the unknowns of when can this happen? Would I injure my own self? Would I injure someone else? What comes out of this? Sometimes it's the unknowns that plays upon your mind and you don't even realize it, right? Words I've never thought I would associate with myself. Being a very sociable person, being a connections pastor, being a person that likes being around people, that I know I always say I'm an extrovert, but it's funny, you get to a place where you don't want to be around people. And it's very strange, a very foreign land. It's not familiar territory at all. And, it still flares up every now and then. The concussion piece flares up, but, also the fear, the anxiety, all those things rear its ugly head every now and then. And so you're dealing with it from a day-to-day, week-to-week basis. For me, I'm so appreciative of the grace of God, the goodness of God. God's been so faithful, and I recognize that. One of the pieces that really helped me now, it's realizing that I'm able to say I've been there to someone who's going through it. Maybe someone that's just beginning the journey. Had recently at our church, we had an event, and one of the people that was here for that, I was outside, and someone came to me and said, Pastor, there's someone here that says he has epilepsy, and they're finding it a challenge in the service with the lighting and all that kind of stuff. So I went out and chatted with them, and when we chatted, we got to know one another, and basically we're on the same sort of journey, and some of the same sort of question marks and all these sorts of things. And at the end of the conversation, she felt a lot better, and just appreciated that there's someone there that understood. And at the end of the conversation, I felt a lot better. And once again, there's someone there that can say, I know exactly where you are and what you've been through. Once again, just recently, I had an oil change, and the gentleman who was doing my oil change started to open up, started to talk, and I can't remember how it came about, but come to find out his son just started having seizures, multiple seizures, and he was questioning it all and wondering about it all. It was all new to him, and it's scary and fear, And after chatting with him, he's, I'm doing my oil change. It seemed to took a lot longer, but we appreciated it. I appreciated it. But at the end of it, he said, man, I appreciate you coming to get this oil change today, because now I know a whole lot more. I mean, the doctors are telling me things, I'm hearing words, I'm, things I'm still researching, but you brought me up a lot to speed today, so thank you. And before I, left, I just said, hey man, can I just be praying for your son? And he said, yes, I would appreciate that a lot. And so, for me, it's, sometimes you can focus on yourself and have, I'm not the type of person that would have a pity party, and I don't want, it's funny that I'm doing this interview because I don't want the attention of it, but I do want to be able to help others. And there's someone, no doubt, that needs to know, who's either in the beginning of this or right in the middle of it, and you are going through a battle with it. And sometimes it's the thing you're dealing with, whether it be cancer or diabetes or heart conditions or whatever the issue is. But then there's a secondary piece with the anxiety and the things that come and the fear that comes that also is present, that it's almost sometimes more challenging to deal with. I'm still on the journey with this. Fortunately, I'm doing well. It's been 18 months as of today since my last seizure, and I thank the Lord for that. And I'm hoping they don't happen anymore. But should it, I know that He's with me, and I know that regardless, I'm still able to say to someone else who's in that journey, whether it be epilepsy, it could be something else. But regardless, whatever that challenge is, whatever that circumstance is, being able to say to someone else, God's with you, God's faithful, persevere, because in the end, He will bless you, He will bring you through, and He will be faithful in your life to see His purpose, His plan, and His will come to pass. And God, you can take that to the bank,
Heart Matters is all about people, especially you, our viewers. That's why we love hearing from you. Maybe you have a suggestion for an upcoming show. Perhaps you know of someone who has a story to tell or a song to sing that could be a blessing to all of us. We also love getting feedback from you guys. Simply send us a message letting us know how something you've seen on this show has impacted you. And as always, if you follow us on social media, you can keep up to date on upcoming episodes and events. Still to come on today's show, The Bottom Line with Mike Freake, and more music from the Penney family when Heart Matters returns.
From envelopes to tractor-trailer loads, Dooley's Trucking caters to all your shipping needs. Capable of meeting all your shipping requirements throughout Newfoundland, Dooley's Trucking is your choice for fast and efficient delivery. Ship with the best. Ship Dooley's.
RE/MAX would like to say thank you for allowing us to be a part of the most important transaction of your life. Our mandate is giving back to the communities that serve us. We will be honored to help you with your next move. Call any of our offices today and let one of our RE/MAX agents go to work for you.
My name is Brandon. I'm the owner here at Gander Appliance and Furniture. We sell a wide variety of appliances and furniture, including Canadian-made Decorest, Ashley Furniture, Samsung, as well as Whirlpool.
Well, during the past 2 years, so many things in church have had to shut down. Unfortunately, one of them was our annual VBS program. Well, what's VBS, you might ask? Well, it stands for Vacation Bible School, and it's a multi-day event where children get immersed in activities, an exciting program where they can learn about the wonderful truth of who God is and what that means for their lives. Needless to say that after not being able to run VBS for over 2 years, our leaders were biting at the bit to relaunch it. And as you can tell from the stage behind me, they put in so much work. And they do this not because they have so much free time on their hands or because they get paid to do it. They do it because of their heart to invest eternal values into the next generation. This building is fairly quiet right now, but it was filled with the sounds of children singing, laughing, playing games, and for many, it was the highlight of their summer. But most importantly, they learned this year at Rocky Railway VBS is that Jesus' power will pull them through. I love this year's theme because Rocky Railway is a pretty accurate picture of life. Now, let's not kid ourselves. Life gets pretty rocky at times, honestly, a lot of times. And children are not immune from the difficult things of life, like divorce, family breakup, losing a loved one, bullying, depression, anxiety. Children need to know that Jesus loves them and that He's with them and that they can place their trust in Him to help them. Now, this is not just a truth for children. This is a truth for everyone. It's a truth for you today because life is rocky. And there are many times and many seasons in life, just like those old trains, it's not always comfortable. It's quite often bumpy, and it can get pretty rough. You can try and be prepared for scenarios, but you can be guaranteed that you're gonna hit some pretty rough patches, things you never planned for, the unexpected, the disappointing, and even the tragic. And maybe that's a description of where you are right now. And it's in those times that we all need something more than just our own ability and skills to get us through. We all need to hold on to the truth that when life gets rocky, Jesus is with us. I've experienced this in my own life, as many of you have as well. I've experienced firsthand that when tragedy comes and when I don't understand things, or when I don't see the way forward, or when I'm tired and weak and it feels like I don't have the strength to carry on, it's in those times that I have placed my trust in Jesus and He has given me the strength to pull through it. He's provided. He has sent along people to encourage me just at the right time when I needed it so desperately. And if that's you today and you're going through a rocky season of life and you're not sure how you're going to find the strength to pull through it, the bottom line is this, that when life gets rocky, and it will, that if we learn to place our trust in Him, if we allow Him, He will pull us through.
I'm living proof what the mercy of God can do. If you knew me then, you believe me now. Turn my whole life upside down. Took the old and He made it new. It's just what the mercy of God can do. I'm alive to tell the story how I'd overcome. It's His goodness and mercy and the power of His blood. I'm so glad that my freedom wasn't based on what I've done. the mercy of God was a grave meant for me, where my sin lay buried. Oh, I've been redeemed by the mercy of God. Now I'm alive to tell the story how I've overcome. It's His goodness and mercy and the power of His love. I'm so glad that my freedom wasn't based on what I've done, but His goodness and mercy and the power of His blood. By the power of His blood. So precious is the flow that makes me white as snow. No other fount I know, nothing but the blood of Jesus.
Oh, precious is the flow that makes me white as snow. Friends, that's the power of the blood of Jesus. To anyone who has no knowledge of what Jesus has done, it can sound like a strange concept. But once you've come to know Jesus in a personal way, you'll discover the life-giving, all-forgiving power of Jesus' sacrifice, and it's offered to you today. I want to thank the Penney family and Rob Lodge for being a part of this episode and making it another fantastic one. I also want to thank all of you for joining in, and we invite you all back again next week.